Hi, I'm JJ. Welcome. Today I wanted to give a couple of book reviews, basically a small weekly wrap up, a little behind the schedule when I finally get to post this, but I have still been focusing on my audiobook TBR, but I had a couple of library rentals that had to be pushed ahead to so that I could return them before they came due. So I I read the ebook version of I See You've Called in Dead by Kenney. I needed something a little lighter after all the stuff that I've been reading lately. And this book was humorous and light, but it also was had depth and was impactful because obviously it's dealing with the subject matter of not just death, but also how to live life, how to make sure that you're just not, going through the motions every day and just, I don't know, just existing or surviving or whatever, but like actually living. And so the themes and stuff uh, were interesting and their take on it. Like there were some parts that were predictable because you obviously know like this character is gonna like learn how to live and everything, but just his experiences and stuff. He ended up being like a flawed but likable guy. And so the premise is that he has a really bad day, goes home, and he's an obituary writer, which already is a hard thing to do when you're dealing with death every day. But he gets drunk and he writes his own obituary, which is fine, except for the fact that he then publishes it onto his company's website and it goes national. And he doesn't even like write his actual obituary. He just makes up a whole bunch of random stuff, inappropriate stuff, lies, weird claims. It was actually entertaining, but so he, obviously he hits rock bottom, and there was parts in here thematically that actually reminded me of Fight Club. Maybe the absurdity of the situation, but also when you have the main character similar to the narrator in Fight Club, where they sort of are just numb to life. I guess that's the best experience for it, and until they get this big wake up call to live, and just like in Fight Club, like he meets I couldn't remember her name, Marla, and she's this like eccentric character who goes from like all these random social club things like Cancer Survivor Club and like just things that she isn't actually a part of, just to try to feel a connection in the world. And there was a character in this book that was actually reminded me a bit of that, but I liked her better. Like she was more grounded. She wasn't as out there. But she goes to wakes and funerals of strangers. So that's kind of where my similarities and stuff in the themes were. To not so much feel connection, but to remind herself that she's alive, to feel close to death and kind of respect it rather than fear it and type of thing. And so the two characters meet, and it's they just they randomly start going to funerals together, and the concept is wild and crazy, but it's memorable and humorous at times, but you get to really just understand people, and I just really enjoyed that. And he has a great group of friends that he doesn't fully appreciate until he starts learning to live again. So he has a really great best friend that he's taken for granted a lot, and a fun little neighbor boy who he's really great with, and I really like their relationship. And just seeing, like, we get to see that he actually has this community and he's not so lost and alone as he must feel that he is. So it was really rewarding to, like, see him finally see what we already saw and to accept it and stuff. So it was sad, it was fun, it was just it was kind of a palate cleanse to the deep and hard stuff that I had been reading lately. So every once in a while I do that. I usually palate cleanse with like a romance or something, or some of the YA books, but this one came due from the library and I had to get to it. So the other one that I finished that I had to return was, I finally read the Kite Runner. And you know how you always, this is probably a book that you're gonna like, but the hype is just so big or something, and you're just scared that you'll be disappointed, so you just kind of put it off. And it's kind of what I kept doing with this book. I knew I would like it. I just was scared that maybe I would be disappointed and not like it as much as I wanted to, but I actually really did enjoy it. I was immersed in that world. I loved hearing the flashbacks and the history of Afghanistan, especially with his friend Hassan. And I loved the bit of twist at the end, or I guess more towards the middle. And I just liked his immigration to America and like trying to fit in here. And it's just a really great story about like a coming of age, but also like self-acceptance, self-forgiveness. It talks about grief and guilt and forgiveness and like remorse, and just the secrets that we keep, and the damage they do when they're revealed, and just wanting to be a better person, and actually getting the time and the opportunity to show that you can be the person that you want to be. And I really enjoyed it. And that was by Khaled Hosseini. And I am almost done with The Swimmers by Julie Otsuka. And that is, I got maybe like a half an hour to go. I actually should have finished it before I started this video, but alas. And I am thoroughly amused by this book and just genuinely enjoying it. And so it starts out like overarching of a whole bunch of swimmers that just, they use the the country club or the club, or YMCA or whatever club, and they just they don't know much of each other except what lane they swim in, what type of swimmer they are. And it just shows how we're so superficial with the people that we interact with every day, how rich their lives are. Like, we see at the outside looking in all their backstories, but you can see that they only know them as like lane 1, lane 1, lane 6, and they know their routines, and they know their like I said, their swim styles. They know their like attitudes and stuff at the gym, but they don't know anything beyond that. And just kind of an eye-opener of like the people that you see every day, and then you might consider them friends, or more than just acquaintances, just because it's like, oh yeah, I swim with Jim every day or whatever. But what do you really know about these people, and have you ever made the effort to know them? And so that part was interesting, especially since it starts with, and then there's they see a crack at the bottom of the pool, and then the pool is going to have to be shut down to be fixed, and then you kind of get more depth and stuff. And so the second part of the book focuses on one of the swimmers who is Japanese American, and so she was in the internment camps that we had here during World War II. And she also is now battling dementia that she's been hiding from people. And so it's a really great study on the daughter's reaction to the mother, what she remembers, what she doesn't remember, and the mother's then point of view of these key memories that are slipping away. And so then that section of the book was really interesting, and it was told in a really short, very like quick-paced, succinct language, but still profound. And then the end part of the book is absolutely like irony, like hilariousness of how awful we treat elderly people, especially elderly people who have dementia or are struggling with things that we no longer value them anymore since they can no longer contribute to society. So then we put them in these homes, and how they're now just a commodity, how much the homes make off of them, what they're worth to them, how much they're losing off of them based on how bad along their illness is. And it was so spunky and humorous in the like absurdness of how badly we treat them, but it was all the truth. Like, it was in truth, it was showing like, why are we letting this happen? Like, why don't we care? Why, these are our elders, these are our, people we're supposed to be respecting, and we just like hide them away because they're an inconvenience to us now. And yeah, I thought it was just going to be this quick read, but I've been really pondering it, and I think it's going to stick with me. Just all those themes that I mentioned that were done so beautifully, simplistically, and yet just they're going to stick with me. So I am almost done with that one. And I also just briefly started on my drive somewhere today, The Bad Guys Won by Jeff Parlman. And that is a sports book so that I can participate in the Summer of Sport, which I love sports books. So I'll probably do a separate one anyway. That will be all, like, I read a lot of romances that have sports themes, so I'll probably suggest some of my favorites then. And then also when I review this book, which is about I think it was the late 80s, I don't want to say I just started, but late 80s New York Mets baseball team. They were top of the game, won the World Series and stuff a particular year, but they were some of the worst people in sports. And so it's been kind of interesting since I was a huge sports fan back then. My grandpa absolutely loves baseball, so I knew a lot of the players. So I get to, the players that I kind of heard over the years, I get to get kind of a deep dive into who they really were, and they're not very good. But it's already very fascinating, well written, and I will be giving a fuller review of that later. But that's my weekly wrap up. I hope to finish Swimmers tonight, and I will give you a full review of The Bad Guys Won when I get that finished. And I guess just happy reading, and I will let you know what I'm reading next as soon as I have what's next. I do know though that I just had to I had The Big Sleep on hold, and that just came. I just had to get that yesterday, so I have to read that within the next couple of weeks, which will be perfect because as long as I finish it by the end of the month, I can also participate in Private Eye July. So, well, there we go. Happy reading.